Well, the thing about originals that is a tough reality is that not every song you write is going to be great. You know what I mean? Like it's just like some songs really kind of stand the test of time in our group, and then other originals, it's like they don't stack up necessarily to playing the standard or playing like a really, popular song that's just a great song. It's hard to write a really good song,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely during the years that you mentioned, John, we were just pumping out original music and really kind of being dedicated to that, which was really important to developing the sound and the foundation and the direction of the group. But not all those songs were as strong as other choices we could make. So at times it would leave our audiences a little like not as engaged.
Yeah.
Or confused.
Confused. Yeah. And I remember people coming up and being like, wow, what kind of jazz is this? Or, this reminds me of acoustic alchemy, which we get that sometimes still.
But think about some of the originals we're still playing in the group. They've been around for some of them a decade. We've been playing.
Or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crooked Railroad is going on 13 years now.
Shadow Play, yeah, probably around the same.
Shadow Play was 07. So, yeah, we're looking at 15 years on Shadow Play. Yeah. And again, for, bringing it back to everybody who's checking out High Action, a theme of this group of New West, a theme of the podcast is always developing and searching and building. And I don't know, there's nothing like getting on the road and doing a lot of the creative building and arranging beyond what we all do at home. But when you're on the road and get the audience response and we get it built into the set and all three of us just get the energy, because there's an energy that's kind of also exhaustion when we're on the road that gets into the music and helps the show, even in a funny way, kind of sound tighter. And it's an awesome experience. And something over the years that I've always found at these clinics, you guys, is a lot of students are asking about the point of going on the road versus just sitting around and doing a lot of social media. It's a little ironic because here we are on social media talking to everybody
On the road.
Yeah, but I know on the road. But at the same time, like just being on the road, right, Will? I mean, you said back in the day in 2015 when you joined the band, that this was one of the first road experiences you had where you weren't just playing somebody else's music, you were also crafting the music while we were on the road too, right?
I think in order to develop your thing or the group's thing or whatever thing it might be, you have to take it on the road a lot. I would argue that's the only way to really get 100% inside the craft that you're taking out is to take it on the road. Mm-hmm. Right?
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we love these areas in the U.S. are so cool because in a way, I mean, we're just far enough from L.A. and New York for it to be for us to be sort of this exotic group. And at the same time, like getting to come out here, and nowadays we're playing a lot of straight ahead jazz in our setting and play for audiences that maybe aren't regularly hearing jazz. It's a lot of fun for us. And this was a gig that we booked back in September of 2020. And of course it got rescheduled twice. And now we're back here doing 4 clinics for some high school students. It was really interesting yesterday. The high schoolers had great questions for the band, and and it was a beginning guitar class, and we had a lot of questions about improvising and where your mindset is when you're soloing. I mean, these are really deep questions. So it's always fun for us to get out, do the clinic, do the performance, and get to these areas up here. So anyway, just to kind of have a shorter episode today and maybe tack on, if we can, a little bit of a clip of the performance. We're going to try to get a good recording through our phone tomorrow when we play our concert over at the Grizzly Peak Winery. It's just great to be back on the road. It's great to connect with our High Action audience. And things are really cooking here with New West. This year we're going to have a featured performance at the Rocky Mountain Archtop Festival out in Colorado, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to produce the podcast in a similar way there for everybody, perhaps maybe in a live way. Peter Henriksen is helping us to get back out to Colorado, and also the Uray Performance Guild is helping us get back to the Wright Opera House in Uray. So those are going to be some fun times, and we're going to keep working on some new music. And in the meantime, be sure to stay tuned to us both on our social media with High Action and with the New West Guitar Group. And be sure to check out our Patreon page. Last week, we did a big cut on hybrid picking. And for those of you who have questions or want to get into a little bit more detail about what we're doing or have specific questions about your guitar playing, feel free to reach out to us through Patreon. It's a great place to ask us questions and also to help us bring up some topics for the High Action podcast. So that kind of does it for the road in Oregon today, you guys. Anything else you want to add, Will, Perry?
Shout out to the Hilton Garden Inn coffee.
Hey, you know, I got to say, Hilton Garden Inn, solid.
Very solid. Very solid.
Really solid. And we're in this beautiful room, the Crater Lake room. And, you know, we could be anywhere. We could be in Iowa. We could be in Wisconsin.
We could be at that guitar shop in Colorado. What's Steve's Guitars?
Steve's Guitars.
Yep.
Carbondale.
Love that place, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. The night that it almost burned down to the ground and we were sleeping upstairs.
I felt like I was sleeping in a piece of history on that couch in the back room.
Yeah.
Felt like I was embedded in history.
Oh, my God. Yes. We have too many. You see, this is the thing. Us doing episodes on being on the road, we can just go on about all of these stories, all these places. So we'll just keep it to Medford, Oregon today. Thanks for tuning into the High Action Podcast. I'm John Story. We've got Perry Smith and Will Brom here. And we'll see you guys next week.